wa barakatuh. My brothers and sisters, I hope you're well. And I'm making dua that, Ya Allah, most kind, most merciful, accept our fasting of the month of Ramadan, accept our qiyam, our tilawah of the Quran, our siyam, our sacrifices, our salah, our prayer, everything that we do, Ya Arhamur Rahimin, give us the best out of this world and the hereafter. It's very, very amazing that Ramadan is flying by and we are still, some of us are asleep. I would like you to wake up and, of course, embrace the last few days of Ramadan. Last 10 days of Ramadan is not far away, my brothers and sisters. I hope and I pray you're making the best of it. We're now on the 18th fast, I think. We are just finishing. 19th will start tonight. And wallahi, before you know, Ramadan will be over. Many of us have this habit of complaining about Ramadan. Oh, brother, Ramadan came and went and I didn't make the best of it. Well, it was your chance and you missed it. Ramadan came. How many times in your life so far? Ask yourself that question. How many times have I had Ramadan in my life so far? That's the question we need to ask. Brothers and sisters, I pray and I certainly hope that you are really serious about a transformative Ramadan for you. A Ramadan that will leave a mark in your life that will be permanent. I pray that your Ramadan will be a Ramadan that you will never, ever regret. And you will think to yourself, I wasted that Ramadan. Ramadan under lockdown should have been the best Ramadan of your life because you had been home, because you'd be with your family, because you'd have the time on your hand to be able to do anything you wanted. And even more importantly, in this month of Ramadan, you would have had the opportunities to connect with Allah, connect with Him, and correct your behavior and contemplate about your purpose and existence on life. I always say there are 3 C's in the month of Ramadan, if you can remember them: connection, correction, and contemplation. Connection, correction, and contemplation. 3 C's. Can you remember these 3 C's in your life? Connection, correction, and contemplation. I hope and I pray you are. For remembering what Allah Azza wa Jalla has prepared for all of us as a reward is in itself a great motivation and an incentive to not only embrace the blessings of Ramadan, but take every step to make a transformative step, transformative Ramadan for you. So now that you're locked down, you're in your own houses with your family, with your children, and plenty of time on your hand, what have you done to make a difference in the month of Ramadan? What have you done to become better in the month of Ramadan? What are you going to do to make sure that the teachings of Ramadan continues or continue throughout the year, 11 months to come? Brothers and sisters, what an opportunity. Don't miss it. Anyway, let's invite my dear brother, Sheikh Abduallah, who has been waiting to talk to us. And inside the Quran, Sheikh, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Nice to see you.
Jazakallah khair. You're always finding new turbans to wear.
You find them hidden somewhere. You only turn out in Ramadan when you go through your files.
Alhamdulillah. And remember, this is the Ramadan we should have gone through our own files before Allah will go through them
Sahih.
on the day of judgment. Wallahi, it will be a very difficult time then. Bismillah, Shaykh Waddah, recitation is yours.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا. الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك وخلق كل شيء فقدره تقديرا. واتخذوا من دونه آلهة لا يخلقون شيئا وهم يخلقون ولا يملكون لأنفسهم ضرا ولا نفعا ولا يملكون موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا. وقال الذين كفروا إن هذا إلا إفك افتراه وأعانه عليه قوم آخرون فقد جاءوا ظلما وزورا. وقالوا أساطير الأولين اكتتبها فهي تملى عليه بكرة وأصيلا. قل أنزله الذي يعلم السر في السماوات والأرض إنه كان غفورا رحيما. وقالوا ما لهذا الرسول يأكل الطعام ويمشي في الأسواق لولا أنزل إليه ملك فيكون معه نذيرا أو يلقى إليه كنز أو تكون له جنة يأكل منها. وقال الظالمون إن تتبعون إلا رجلا مسحورا. انظر كيف ضربوا لك الأمثال فضلوا فلا يستطيعون سبيلا. تبارك الذي إن شاء جعل لك خيرا من ذلك جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ويجعل لك قصورا. بل كذبوا بالساعة وأعتدنا لمن كذب بالساعة سعيرا. إذا رأتهم من مكان بعيد سمعوا لها تغيظا وزفيرا. وإذا ألقوا منها مكانا ضيقا مقرنين دعوا هنالك ثبورا. لا تدعوا اليوم ثبورا واحدا وادعوا ثبورا كثيرا. قل أذلك خير أم جنة الخلد التي وعد المتقون قل أذلك خير أم جنة الخلد التي وعد المتقون كانت لهم جزاء ومصيرا. لهم فيها ما يشاءون خالدين كان على ربك وعدا مسئولا. ويوم يحشرهم وما يعبدون من دون الله فيقول أأنتم أضللتم عبادي هؤلاء أم هم ضلوا السبيل. قالوا سبحانك ما كان ينبغي لنا أن نتخذ من دونك من أولياء ولكن متعتهم وآباءهم ولكن متعتهم وآباءهم حتى نسوا الذكر وكانوا قوما بورا فقد كذبوكم بما تقولون فما تستطيعون صرفا ولا نصرا ومن يظلم منكم نذقه عذابا كبيرا وما أرسلنا قبلك من المرسلين إنهم ليأكلون الطعام ويمشون في الأسواق وجعلنا بعضكم لبعض فتنة أتصبرون وكان ربك بصيرا صدق الله العظيم.
Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Sheikh Waddah, for that amazing recitation. Alhamdulillah. Allah bless you. Allah give you hayatun tayyibah. Surah Al-Furqan you recited, right?
نعم Surah Al-Furqan from the beginning, inshallah.
MashaAllah. All of it. MashaAllah.
No, we've got the 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages. You've got 2 pages and the little bit.
So what ayah did you stop at?
We've got the hizb. Let me check for you.
I just want to make sure that I don't read the translation wrong.
It's from the beginning to ayah 20.
Very good. Alhamdulillah. I'm going to read the meaning now, inshallah. So what's for iftar today?
It's another surprise. I don't know. Yesterday we had, mashallah, had lamb, roast lamb, alhamdulillah, with soup and a bit of rice, biryani rice.
Oh, biryani too.
We had a bit of your taste, I think. A bit of the Bengali brothers, they like the biryanis, don't they, mashallah?
MashaAllah. I haven't had any biryani for a long time.
You know what? I remember when we came down to your place, was in London, and we had the iftar there. MashaAllah, the biryani that your chef made that day.
You liked it?
Yeah, mashallah.
Allah bless you, my dear brother. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Definitely.
Keep making dua for us as well. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Waddah there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. Allah give you hayatun tayyibah, Sheikh Waddah. He recited from Surah Al-Furqan. It appears from its style and subject matter that, like Surah Al-Mu'minun, it was also revealed during the 3rd stage of prophethood in Mecca. Ibn Jarir and Ibn Razi have cited a tradition of Dahaq Ibn Muzahim that this surah was revealed 8 years before Surah Nisa. Subject matter on this surah are as follows. You make me hungry, says Naima Ben. I'm sorry, Naima. If I am making you hungry, I'm hungrier sitting here every day. Wa alaikum assalam, by the way, Naima. Wa alaikum assalam, Jamila. Wa alaikum assalam, Ali, Muhammad. Thank you for salam and thank you for joining us. Please tell all your friends and families to join us too. The surah deals with the doubts and objections that were being raised against the Quran, the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his teachings by the disbelievers of Mecca. Appropriate answers to each and every objection were given, and the people have been warned of the consequences of rejecting the truth. At the end of the surah, a clear picture of the moral superiority of the message itself comes and is depicted as in the beginning of the surah of Mu'minun, as if to say, here is the criterion for distinguishing the genuine people from the counterfeit. This is noble character of those people who have believed in and followed the teachings of the Prophet, and this is the kind of people that he is trying to train. You may yourselves compare and contrast this type of people with those Arabs who have not yet accepted the message and who are upholding ignorance and exerting this utmost to defeat the truth. Now, you may judge for yourself as to which you would like to choose. Though this question was not posed in so many words, it was placed before everyone in Arabia in a tangible shape. It may be noted that during the next few years, a practical answer given to this question by the whole nation, with the exception of a small minority, was that they chose Islam. The surah begins, Surah Al-Furqan, surah number 25, verses 1 to 20, my brothers and sisters. In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Beneficent. Blessed is he who sent down the criterion upon his servant that he may be to the world a warner. He to whom belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and who has not taken a son and has not had a partner in dominion, and has created each thing and determined it with precise determination. But they have taken besides him gods which create nothing while they are created, and poses not for themselves any harm or benefit, and poses no power to cause death or life or resurrection. And those who believe say, this Quran is not except a falsehood he'd invented, and another people insisted him in it. By they have committed an injustice and a lie. And they say, legend of the former people which he has written down, and they are directed to him morning and afternoon. Say, Muhammad, it has been revealed by he who knows every secret within the heavens and the earth. Indeed, he is ever forgiving and merciful. And they say, what is with messenger that eats food and walks in markets? Why was there not sent down to him an angel so he would be with him as a warner? Or why is it a treasure presented to him from the heavens? Or why does he not have a garden from which he can eat? And the wrongdoers say, you follow not but a man affected by magic. Look how they strike for their comparisons, but they have strayed, so they cannot find a way. Blessed is he who, if he willed, could have made for you something better than this, gardens beneath which rivers will flow, and could make for you palaces. But they have denied the hour, and we have prepared for them who deny the hour of the hour ablaze. Then it when it see them from a distant place, they will hear its fury and roaring, and when they're thrown into its narrow place, therein bound in chain, they will cry out thereupon for destruction. They will be told, do not cry this day for one destruction, but cry for much destruction. Say, is that better or the garden of eternity which is promised to the righteous? It will be for them a reward and destination. For them therein is where whatever they wish, while abiding eternally. It is ever upon your Lord a promise worthy to be requested. My brothers and sisters, those are the words of Allah in Surah Al-Furqan. I've read up to verse 17, and of course I've left the rest for you to read at your own time and space. Inshallah, I hope and I pray that you're able to read the Quran as often as you can, inshallah, for Allah's blessings lie in all of us trying to rehearse the words of Allah. Saadia Mian says, Jazakallahu khairan indeed. Thank you. Fakhrul Islam says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And Naima Ben says, I've already read Naima Ben's message. Brothers and sisters, month of Ramadan came and month of Ramadan is going to go. Some of us would struggle, and some of us will struggle less, some of us will struggle more. But it is a struggle for all, not being able to eat or drink at your leisure, at your pleasure, any amount you like, anytime you want. You're confined to a particular time. And most of us, because we are sacrificing our entire day and we are making a commitment not to eat or drink throughout the day, in the evening, when we do eat, we eat the halal and tayyib food, wholesome food that are beneficial. It is so amazing that some of us, when we eat the food that is beneficial, we pick up the food and we eat it, but we don't think about the food itself. Think about where it came from. Think about who gave it to you. There is a very nice story, and I want to tell you this story. A man called Ibrahim ibn Adam. Ibrahim ibn Adam was a great scholar. A man came to Ibrahim ibn Adam and said to Ibrahim ibn Adam, "Oh Ibrahim, please help me. I'm finding it difficult to obey Allah and listen to his words and commands. What shall I do?" Ibrahim ibn Adam said, "If you can answer me 5 questions, you can do as you wish. Question number 1, if you can find a food that doesn't belong to Allah, Number 2, if you can find a place that doesn't belong to Allah. Number 3, if you can hide from Allah. Number 4, if you can delay your death. And number 5, if you can escape the punishment of the Day of Judgment. If you can answer all those questions in affirmative, then you can go and do as you like. But if the answer to all of those is in the negative, then you should think about what you're doing. Brothers and sisters, what a beautiful reminder. Brother Yahya has joined us. We will not waste my time or his precious time. I know he's committed to other things to do. Brother Yahya, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Your system is working without the headphone.
Yeah, I'll have to get a new one. I'm afraid it stopped working.
Oh, no.
If you have any recommendations about good kit, then let me know. So what is that then? It's like a remote microphone.
No, it's an earphone.
All right. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
Like my big clunky earphones, huh?
Yeah, so you can use this. If you've got iPhone, this is very good for you.
Okay. Okay.
And if your computer is an Apple MacBook, it will connect, or iPad, it will connect with this very quickly. And then you can talk, you can listen, you can do all you like. People can hear you very, very clearly.
Okay. Well, that sounds excellent. So I've got a couple of shorter poems tonight, and one
you
is.
didn't send me the poem about the marriage yet.
Oh yes, okay. I think there was a reason for that. I can't remember what it was, but
you said you wanted to check some words.
I want to check.
Even without checking the words, I still would like to see them. I would like to have it, please.
Okay. Yeah, I thought there might be some transcription errors in it, so I didn't want to give it out without it being correct. So
don't worry, I will make sure that I understand what you're saying. But inshallah, do your best.
Yeah, no. What I mean is, I want to check it against the original source because I thought I picked up a mistake. So I don't want to just send it out into the world with a mistake in it.
Okay,
that's all.
Let's hear you today, inshallah. The poems are all yours.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. So these are two of his later poems. So the first one is called The Entreaty, or Rija in Turkish. With opened eyes, I pass towards the light. With willing heart, I yearn to do the right. But the day is clothed with burdens of the night. With opened eyes, I look towards the sun, then bend to toil at some good task begun. To be destroyed, or ere day its course hath run. With opened eyes I build, and then I see the building dedicated unto thee, destroyed, and yet 'twas beautiful to me. With yearning soul I long for peace and rest, to cast the dross and treasure, all's that best, to find at eve my soul with doubts o'erpast. Thy ways, Allah, I cannot comprehend, but this I know, whether thou break or mend, all will be right when I attain the end. Rija, I make, O Allah, heir to thee. Thy mercy, Allah, O bestow on me, and open my blinded eyes that I may see.
Lovely point.
And I kind of agreed that we think this might be quite a personal poem.
It sounds like he was making a dua.
Yeah, it's a personal poem. I think it's about the loss of the mosque in Liverpool. Say, with opened eyes I build, and then I see the building dedicated unto thee destroyed, and yet 'twas beautiful to me.
Wow.
So I kind of think it's about the kind of crisis he went through after leaving Liverpool. For a number
we must have that poem on the wall of Liverpool Mosque.
So this is our belief, this is kind of what we think this poem could be about. It's our interpretation of it. Allah knows best.
Interpretation, and a plausible one too. I think it makes most sense.
Yeah, and then it was published in 1916, so this is after Liverpool.
Wow.
This is one of my favorites, and it's a ghazal in praise of the Prophet. So long as the hearth doth pulsate and beat, so long as the sun bestows light and heat, so long as the blood through our veins doth flow, so long as the mind in knowledge doth grow, so long as the tongue retains power of speech, So long as wise men true wisdom do teach, the praise of God's prophet, Ahmed the Blessed, shall flow from our lips and spring from our breast. To us Rasulullah from darkness of night did lead us to truth, did give to us light, did point out the path which followed with zest, leadeth to Islam and give peace and rest. Praise be to Allah, 'twas he who did send Ahmed, Muhammad, our prophet, our friend.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. You should sing it rather than recite it.
I think that one could definitely be set to a good tune. I mean, I know that it's been sung in Liverpool. I know that the Naqshbandis in Liverpool have started using this particular poem in honor of Sheikh Quilliam. So somebody is singing it.
Have you sang it yourself?
Well, I haven't set it to a tune, no, but I think it could be easily be done. You know, so one has to find an appropriate tune for this. But I do love it very much. I do love it.
Can we hear the first one again, if you don't mind?
So you're talking about the one about the entreaty?
Yes. The one about his lamentation of loss of the mosque.
Yeah. So with opened eyes, I pass towards the light. With willing heart, I yearn to do the right. But day is clothed with burdens of the night. With opened eyes, I look towards the sun, then bend to toil at some good task begun, to be destroyed ere day its course hath run. With opened eyes I build, and then I see the building dedicated unto thee, destroyed, and yet 'twas beautiful to me. With yearning soul I long for peace and rest, to cast the dross and treasure all that's best, to find at eve my soul with doubts overpast. Thy ways, Allah, I cannot comprehend, but this I know, whether thou break or mend, all will be right when I attain the end. Rija, I make, O Allah, heir to thee. Thy mercy, Allah, O bestow on me, and open my blinded eyes that I may see.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we do think some of the poems are really quite personal, almost autobiographical. So maybe I will pick out another couple of those for you as well.
I have to tell you, my personal favorite is the one about marriage we talked about. That's a very good one. And this one about Abdullah Quilliam's pain for losing his building. These are my two favorite ones now. And I like them for different reasons. One is Abdullah Quilliam Mosque, because, of course, of my connection there. And the other one is because of my personal expertise on marriage in terms of writing and counseling and all of the stuff. So very, very, very refreshing to hear such poetry existed. You know, very beautiful. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm sure there's something in for everybody in the poetry. There's a poem he wrote about Ertugrul, you know?
Did he?
Which is very popular, has been very popular amongst our community in recent years because of a certain soap opera.
That is interesting.
But it's quite a long one. It's the longest poem that he wrote. So I thought it would be too long for this program, but maybe I can take an extract out of it or something. How about that?
Well, you do still have, you get 10 minutes. Surely you can recite a poem in 10 minutes.
It's quite long. I think I would just do an extract from it.
Okay. So the Ertugrul followers should hopefully be excited by the prospect of listening to a poem by Abdullah Quilliam that long ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course.
Have you ever met Abdullah Quilliam's great grandson?
Have I met him?
Mike, I met him. He came to the mosque itself.
Okay, I've not met him.
Very interesting gentleman, very soft, very gentle, very kind. He came to the mosque last time and he bought a law book that belonged to Abdullah Quilliam, and it's got his name and inscription and a statement on top of a book and his signature on it by his own hand.
Oh wow! Okay, so it was a book that he owned.
Yeah, we have the possession of it now. He's given back to the mosque. He said, "This is your property. You can keep it."
Okay. Well, you have to let us scholars have a look at your treasures so we can do our.
Nah, we'll have to charge you for it.
That's not how archives work. Come on.
I'm just joking. The reason we've come to you is because you're the scholar on this issue, and we want to engage you more, inshallah, as we progress. When we get to the stage of restoring the original building and getting it curated to Britain's first ever Victorian Islamic Museum, we will probably have to ask you if you take a salary cut and join us to make it happen.
Inshallah.
We'll talk about that, inshallah.
I'd be very honored. And, we have a good chance now. I think there's a group of us working to try and track down the descendants of some of the other members of the Liverpool Muslim Institute. So
original.
We've already started to get in contact with some of them, and they started to get in contact with us as well. So, they're doing family histories, and they dig into the past, and they find out that one of their ancestors was a Muslim, and so that's kind of how it's happening.
It's lovely to hear that. Fantastic.
Slowly but surely, we are
reconnecting
all together. Yeah.
Reconnecting the dots.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
local Liverpool families can identify with the mosque as part of their family history.
Inshallah, not just local Liverpool, but the entire British Muslim community.
No, I know, but I'm talking about those local connections that Quilliam had. That many of the converts came from Merseyside, didn't they? So I'm just talking about the local convert community that was around Quilliam. So I think if their descendants can have connections to the mosque through family history, I think that's excellent.
Well, bring them on. We will have them. We'll host a dinner for them.
Well, yeah, exactly. One family at a time.
Inshallah. What a wonderful idea. Thank you, Brother Yahya. Keep up the good work. We'll see you on today's Monday, on Wednesday, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Barakallahu fikum. Have a fantastic evening. Have a good iftar. I hope something good is waiting for you for iftar.
I'm making it, so.
Oh, what are you making?
I'm making a pav bhaji. Do you know what pav bhaji is?
No idea.
It's a Gujarati favorite. It's a kind of vegetable curry that's very, very soft, and with the Madras curry powder, it's really nice. And and you eat it with bread.
My favorite Gujarati food is dokla.
Oh, dokla, okay. Yeah, dokla is another one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, my wife is of Gujarati heritage, so
Do you know how to make dokla?
No, I don't.
You have failed the Gujarati test then.
I don't make the dokla, but I'll eat it.
Allah bless you, Brother Yahya. See you inshallah on Wednesday. Take care.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Yahya there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Henrietta waiting with a very different kitchen altogether. Not Gujarati dokla, but let's see what she has got to say. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. My hands are busy and my kitchen is messy.
It's very scary to see you've got your knife on your hand and you're talking to us. So
I know. I'm just arranging a rocket looking salad, which is just salad leaves, but it looks like rocket, and I think it tastes a little bit like rocket. So I'm making a rocket and tomato salad, and I'm going to show you what I made today, because it has been a very interesting day. So I'm making fried fish, breaded fish.
Okay.
There is Duffner's potatoes, which is made with a little bit of cream infused with bay leaf and some, salt and pepper and cheese on top. And I made banana bread.
Oh, yes.
And of course, we have our pastries, and we will have fruit salad and other salad. So, and hence the kitchen is messy because of all this.
I don't think people care about how messy it is. People are very intrigued on what you're making.
Well, I don't really care because you will be cleaning up with the kids, so I'm quite happy to just make the mess.
I don't like to, as you know, clean up all the mess in the wider sense of the word.
Well, you said you don't mind the mess, so I complied.
No, don't make a mess, please. Fine. Let's hear yours about your struggle, because everyone is interested in knowing how much you're struggling still.
Oh, people are laughing at me, right? So
nobody's laughing at you. They're interested.
Well, Amadud is doing its job really well. So the food wasn't a problem today. Actually, I was listening to a couple of lectures in the last few days, and I listened to one which really made me think about this whole idea of fasting and struggle. And really, it is the struggle of the nafs, because after 12 days of fasting, 15, 18 days of fasting, you don't really, you can't complain about the food anymore because you do get used to it. And even if you feel hungry, it's not the same kind of hunger you had when you started. So something is obviously changing, and it's like this every year. So it was good today. I have been really busy. I had a job interview, I had other things, so maybe that was also an issue, that it just kept my mind away from things. But I do get, from time to time I get my stomach crumbling a bit, and I, but it's not actually, it's not the food, it's something to do with submission, it's something to do with, so that made me think. And I have a reminder for today. Actually, I've got my notes in here.
Go for it. Your reminder is not only today, it's also from yesterday. So you can double it if you like.
Well, I started talking about day for yesterday. I started talking about different kinds of information and its place and its role in Islam, and now personal growth and spiritual growth. So I wanted to continue on that one because, Imam Al-Ghazali does talk about practical knowledge and spiritual knowledge. And I think now more than ever in Ramadan, and especially in the lockdown, we kind of start to think about meaningful action and what gives meaning to us in life. But we live in an age, and most of us are actually educated in a system where information is given to us as data. So we get a lot of facts. There's a lot of cultural data that we just take in. And what I mean by cultural data, it's a matrix of all the things that we are supposed to be learning, and these are very important elements. But because I grew up without anything to counteract that, I have become a very intellectually driven person. So I relied on facts, and everything has to be scientific and materialistic. And I think from that understanding, you develop a worldview which is very much about scientific and materialistic understanding. And I think what happens in Ramadan, more than any other time of the year, is that something has to shift in the psyche to understand that there is another way of operating. Because the first way of operating is very much left brain. It's logic, it's understanding data, it's processing, it's making sense, it's all of that. But I think what really the sages of our tradition speak of is another way of functioning, which is how do you function from your soul? Because that's a much deeper place to lead your life from. So, and we know this because God manifests himself not in materialistic things. God manifests himself in nature. He appears in soft things. He appears in the small details of our lives. He doesn't come with big, billboards of, oh, here I am, and accept me. Well, of course, some religions take it to a level that they put up the big billboards in front of their places of worship, but really God really lives in the small details. It's in the plants, it's in animals, and then of course in all of us, which is why the struggle is so big when we are fasting. So, and I thought about this because when our entire existence is dependent and developed from that worldview of I need to know everything, how it looks and how big it is and how useful it is for me, there's very little space for the invisible, for the blessings, for gratitude, for all the things which we can't touch. These things are not, it's not our toolkit, is it? We don't have a toolkit for spiritual blossom or blossoming. So I think, but then deep inside, all of us know that our life is driven by our soul and our spirit, because we have gut instinct. We have the gut feeling. We have very strong intuitions. Most people do have, but we ignore it because we think about our brain and, oh no, it has to make sense. But actually, really amazing things come to our life when we just let the soul lead and connect, because on that deep level we understand that whatever is given to us, it was already written. and whatever is taken away from us was never supposed to be ours anyway. And that often cannot be explained, scientifically or with data. It can only be explained with faith and something that is that intangible, something we don't see and we can't touch. So, and the interesting thing about Imam al-Ghazali is that he does recognize that seeking practical knowledge is very important, but he says with caution is that it is both praiseworthy and blameworthy, because of course, like everything has a positive and a negative, but when we seek practical knowledge only and we are not doing anything that nurtures our other side of our being, then we end up, being driven by just that one-dimensional thinking. So, and life really is meaningful when the practical knowledge is followed with a ethical command. And I love this expression because it's one thing to learn intellectually. We can all sit down and memorize a book, or we can all, look at, read the Quran and think about it scientifically and think about it logically, and it has its place. But if it doesn't follow an ethical command, which is our actions, our emotions, our feelings, our other parts of us, I think that's when we lack and we miss out on life, which is why all our practices are supposed to be helping us with. So we pray, we pay zakat, we go for pilgrimage. So all the aspects of worship we do, although they are actions and driven by a logical and reasonable, command, because it is God's command that this is what we need to do. If it doesn't follow through our soul and if we don't connect with it with our heart, it's really just meaningless action doing it. And I know a lot of people, for example, who would be going for Hajj or for Umrah every year. It's about how much do you change when you go through this process? How much do you grow? How much do you progress? How different are you today than you were yesterday? So I think Ramadan is, as I was talking about yesterday with the fasting, is every day is different and every year is different. So there's no cookie cutter recipe for anybody, but it's about really understanding that the two have to move together. Our intellectual understanding of what we are doing and why we are doing it has to go through. Now that I know why I'm doing it and what I'm doing, how am I going to make use of that? So how can I serve other people with that, whether it's immediate family or friends or extended families? How am I going to follow it with an ethical command that comes from me, from my soul, which is about the best possible I can be, whoever God made me into. And there's a very beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which says that the person most severely chastised on the day of judgment will be the learned man whom God did not afford benefit from his knowledge. So this is really about thinking, how much do we benefit from the knowledge that we take? A lot of people sit and listen to lectures all the time. What's the benefit, and how are you going to pass this on? What's that command that comes from you that helps you put that knowledge into practice? And Mike, I just want to leave everybody with 3 questions actually today. What would your life be like if you lived from your soul? What would you keep doing? What would you stop doing? And what would you replace with something else? If you were just purely thinking about your soul and not logic and not reason, but something that is soul driven. So what would you keep doing? What would you stop doing? And what would you replace with something else?
Very interesting. Thank you. Very, very insightful, thoughtful. What would you ask me those 3 questions myself? Let me answer them.
So what would you keep doing if you were living and thinking with your soul? What would you keep doing? What would you stop doing? And what would you replace?
I would continue teaching the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
That really I enjoy. What would I replace?
And what would you stop doing?
I will stop running around like I used to do, from one project to another project, and just focus on one single project, which is teaching the Quran, whether it is at local level, whether it is internationally or online or physically. I'll just do that. And what's the 3rd question?
What would you replace?
What will I replace? Well, my existing busy life with
Mm.
more busy life teaching the Quran.
Mm.
Does that answer you?
Yeah, it does. No, I just wanted everyone to think about this, and probably for some of us, there's no answer. I don't know all the answers yet, but it's better to have questions than trying to figure out all the answers. So
Okay, thank you. Lovely. I'm going to obviously leave you in peace in your kitchen. Thank you for your time today. I gave you undisturbed 10 minutes. Look at that. Generous.
excellent.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Assalamu alaikum. That's a greater for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're now waiting for our doctor to join us. And as soon as he joins us, inshallah, we will ask him the important questions that you all have, medical questions, if you have got any questions that you want to raise. Send me a question if you've got a question on your health. Let me also message my doctor to see where he is, because, of course, he's supposed to be here at 1:45. I can't see him. Let me message him to say, where are you, doctor? He's having difficulty logging in, trying to log in. I see, okay, he's having difficulty. Technology is not working. We're waiting. I'm just messaging him to say exactly that. We're waiting, doctor. Come along. And of course, we will see if he gets the message, inshallah, and joins us. We're waiting, and we can wait, no problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, while doctor comes to deal with our physical illnesses, what about our spiritual illnesses? What spiritual illnesses are you suffering from? Do you have any spiritual illnesses that you want to talk about? What spiritual illnesses would you like to cure? Somebody answer that question. See if there is anybody out there who is listening. If you're listening, answer this question. What spiritual illnesses would you like to cure? Is there a particular spiritual illness that you would like to cure from your body? Is there any particular illness that you feel needs your attention? I'm not talking about physical illness. Physical illness is doctor's business. My business here is to help you look at your spiritual issues. Do you have any spiritual illnesses that you want to overcome? Maybe you're struggling with prayers. Maybe you're struggling with fasting. Maybe you're struggling with your relationship with your families, your friends. Maybe you're struggling with relationship with Allah. What are you struggling with? Is there any one of you out there listening to this program having any spiritual challenges and difficulties that you would like us all to help you and overcome? Perhaps you can raise that question on the side. As you know, you can send your questions. There you go. Road rage, says Afsar Khan. Road rage. I'm a calm guy, but I'm a different person when I'm driving. Afsar, what an interesting thing to share, isn't it? You are a different person when you're driving. What happens to you is the question I'd like to ask you. What happens to you? Tell me what happens to you when you're driving. Is it that you are in your own space and you're in full control? And when you're in full control, you don't want anyone to disturb you. And when you're not inside your car, you're not in control, so you don't mind. Is it that you feel, I have an entitlement? This is mine, my space, my road, my car. Sense of entitlement that makes you feel a different person? Is it a sense of injustice that makes you react because you're in control and you're entitled to it? In your own space, within your own space, you can do what you like. If somebody cuts you up while you're driving, of course, you're going to scream and shout and you get very angry about it. What is it, Afsar Khan, that makes you a different person? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought, is it control? Is it mimicking somebody else's behavior? I've seen somebody who is close to me, my parents, my father, my mother, drive like this, and therefore I think it's a normal behavior. Have I got a friend who does it all the time and therefore he gets away with it? I get really annoyed when people aren't considerate drivers and selfish. But by getting annoyed, Afsar Khan, are you not also being selfish and ill-considerate? Because annoying or annoyance, the feeling of annoyance, is an inner feeling that is manifested because of somebody's behavior. You've got annoyed by somebody. Could you have not responded and chosen a different response altogether? Could you have not reacted differently than annoyance? Why not get annoyed? Somebody is not considerate on the road, okay, but why do you get annoyed by it? Can you not get some other ways of managing the same feeling? Somebody has been not considerate on the road. Could you not be patient? Could you not be one who say, maybe the person has had a bad day? Could you not be that person who could say, maybe he's in a rush, he wants to go somewhere. Maybe his wife is about to give birth and they've just received a message. Maybe his father has had a heart attack. Maybe his son has fallen off the stairs. Maybe his work needs him now. Instead of accusing that person of being selfish or ill-considerate, give him an excuse. Could you do that, Afsar? Afsar Khan, tell me. Can you give him an excuse? I would love to hear from you, Afsar Khan, because you've raised the issue, a very beautiful issue. You can raise a point. If you are struggling with something in particular, talk to us. Especially struggle with your soul, spiritual struggle. Afsar Khan is so honest. I am a calm guy normally, but while driving, I become road raged. But why inside the car? And what is it about other people's behavior that you interpret as selfish and ill-considerate, and you consider that behavior to be nothing but reasons for your annoyance? What is it about their behavior that you interpret that way? Could you not have interpreted the same behavior differently, rather than becoming annoyed by it and thinking they're ill-considerate and selfish? Could you not have thought maybe they're in a rush, they're in a hurry, they've got an emergency, they need it somewhere, they're rushing off because there is something else happening in their life, and I'm very lucky, I'm not rushing off, I'm okay. Could you not take a back seat? In fact, could you not find a space in your heart to give them that space? Okay, why don't you go? Jazakallahu khairan. It makes sense what you said. I guess this is one of my small tests in life. Yes, it is your test, of course, Afsar. We all have our tests. You can always look at the same thing very differently. I'm looking for here. There you go. I've got a glass of water. I brought this with me. This could be a glass of water half full or half empty. Depends on your interpretation. Which way do you look at it? Half full or half empty? If you look at it as half full, it gives you options. If you look at it as a half empty, it limits your option. The same thing can be looked at differently. Somebody cut you up while you're driving could make you angry, yes. But you could look at that behavior and have compassion for them and give them a space. Oh, that person is needed somewhere. That person is wanted somewhere. They have an emergency. If they don't get there on a particular time, they will be in trouble. Let me give them some space. In fact, you know what? I'm going to slow down, make space for them. Please go ahead. I remember it happened to me once that I was driving along and this guy came right next to me very fast and he wanted to overtake me. And I stopped. And he stopped. And I opened the window and I said to him, please, with pleasure, you can go first. He said, no, you go first. I said, no, you go first. Instead of becoming road raged, we started becoming courteous. Eventually, I said to him, I insist. It looks like you're in a hurry. You can go. And he went, smiling ear to ear. Instead of us suffering from road rage, we ended up both being very calm and very happy about a good gesture that we had both shared. Spiritual struggle in the month of Ramadan requires us to take control of our emotions. And if you can, my brothers and sisters, it's an ideal opportunity to actually take control of your emotion. This is the time. If you're struggling with any of them, talk to us now. Send a message. Let's see if I can read your thoughts and how you're feeling. Brother Afsar Khan has been very kind in sharing with us his own thoughts. And I'm very grateful that he was able to connect, able to relate to us, able to share with us. And now I've given him perhaps a different way of thinking. He will think about it differently. Are you struggling with a spiritual struggle that you want to discuss? Our medical doctor, unfortunately, has failed in connecting with us because of some technical issues, but that's okay. You're there. You can stay with us. You can talk to us. You can share your thoughts. Brothers and sisters, month of Ramadan is one of those months that really... Hassan has written, I'm struggling from depression. I'm sorry, Hassan, I didn't see that. It missed my eyes. I just saw it. Depression. Do you know, Hassan, what is making you depressed? Do you know where it began? Do you know where it started? How you started feeling depressed? What was the trigger? Can you go back in your life to find out what was the point where you started feeling depressed? What is it exactly that made you so depressed? Brother Hassan, I want you to answer me if you can. Was there a moment in your life that you had been very sad? Is there a trauma that you're carrying from your past, from your childhood, from your adulthood, from your teenage years, from any relationship you've had, work experience, where you've had bad treatment, or you've had in a college or in a school that was where you're bullied? Is there a trauma that you're carrying in your life that has become a point of sadness? When you remember it, you feel upset. Often, I don't know whether you know this, brothers and sisters, depression is related to sadness. When you allow your sadness to overtake you, when you wallow in your own sadness, and when you allow sadness to take you down a spiral, further and further and further and further until you get to the bottom of it, when it's too difficult to come back up again. You simply cannot come back. You cannot climb up because you're too far down. It's too difficult to come out. Sadness is at the beginning, and if you allow sadness to take over, to dominate your thoughts and your behavior and your mind, you will allow yourself to go down, then down and down and down of darkness and gloom and doom, and you can't come out. So Hassan, if you're suffering from depression or struggling with depression, ask yourself this question: do I have a moment of sadness that is memorable, that I remember very vividly, sticks with me? I cannot shed it even if I want to. It could be that that moment of sadness has dominated your life such that other sadnesses or other incidents in life have led you to feeling depressed. Of course, depression is not an easy thing. I know. Depression is a very tough thing for people. Those who suffer from depression always say, but Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. Don't allow your sadnesses to take you over. If you allow your sadnesses to take you over, that's when you open yourself up to fall straight down into that narrow hole until you get to the bottom of the pit. If you feel sad and you grab yourself right at the top and say, you know what, I feel sad. That's a very natural reaction to a particular incident. I'm not going to allow myself to go down any further. I'm going to pull myself together. I'm going to be in the best company. One of the biggest enemies of depression or sadness is being alone, isolated, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling like a victim. You don't have to feel like a victim. You don't have to feel sorry for yourself. You can overcome all of that. So brothers and sisters, my recommendation for Hassan and anyone else out there who's suffering from sadness, depression, any other related issues such as anxiety would be to really look at your own life and say, you know, I'm not going to allow sadness to overtake me. But how do you stop sadness from taking over? What are the strategies one uses? Well, firstly, that particular incident that caused you sadness in the first place. Remember, sadness is a primary emotion. There are 6 emotions that we all experience every day. One of them is sadness. It's a very natural emotion. What you have to do is you have to stop yourself from allowing sadnesses to overwhelm you. In other words, when you are sad, you should not think that's the end of it. When you're sad, you should not think that's the end of my life. There is no other future. So the best way to not allow sadness to overwhelm you is to firstly identify what is causing you the sadness in the first place. Loss of family member, well, identify it. Deal with that particular problem rather than throw everything in the same bucket. And then you can't climb out of it because you're drowning in it. Identify the precise reason why at that moment in time you're feeling sad. And then deal with that moment and that particular feeling. When you separate feelings and deal with each and every feeling separately, you become the master of your feeling rather than the feelings becoming your master. We are human beings, brothers and sisters. We are made to become master of everything that we have within our body, from our mind to our fingertips. Everything must be in control. We must be in control of it ourselves. The feelings are the same, emotions are the same. Yes, they will come about involuntarily because of an experience, but what you do with it will make you the master. What you fail to do with it will make you a slave of it. So identify the pain, the problem, the feeling itself, and deal with it there and then. Don't procrastinate over it. Don't brush it under the carpet. I'll deal with it tomorrow. No, deal with it now. Right now. Deal with it now yourself. Sit down and identify the problem. Go to the bottom of it. There is a way of doing it, inshallah. Well, for today, we've run out of time. It's been fantastic talking to you all. It's been brilliant that we've been receiving messages from you. Keep them going. Keep them coming, brothers and sisters. I'm here every day between 7 and 8, talking to you about your spiritual issues, talking to you about Abduallah Quilliam Mosque and how Abduallah Quilliam was able to bring Islam to the people of that country, and we're restoring that mosque. Please help and support it. Go to Abduallah Quilliam's website and donate, inshallah. For now, I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.